And next is Cade Houck.
Thank you all for giving me this opportunity. When the Founding Fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence and forged our democracy, they used the wisdom of great nations that came before them to make a government that would preside over the most powerful nation in the world. A government of the people, by the people, for the people. That is the foundation of our democracy and the root of our country's success. Arguably, the greatest part of our democracy is the power it gives to the people. The people's power starts with the elections and electoral college. Our election system is based off the Romans, who voted in blocks based on how much wealth each citizen had. The reason for the blocks was to insulate the vote from mob mentality, skewing the results. America's voting population has changed a few times over our history, but right now, any American citizen over the age of 18 can vote. And instead of being grouped on wealth, we are organized by state, and the population of said state determines how many votes the state gets. This system of electing our representatives gives the most fair and accurate representation of what the country wants in its leadership, and indeed they do. Because unlike the Romans, whose government stalled the passing of important legislation, our democracy allows the president to immediately put legislation into action with an executive order if something needs to happen now, giving us the ability to adapt quickly on a governmental level, which not many other countries can do. Our democracy doesn't only excel in structure and government, but also in the freedoms it provides for its people. One of our greatest freedoms is the ability to question and critique our country and everything about it. Whereas throughout most of history, any negative notions about one's nation could end in severe punishment. This criticism, we often take for granted, allows us to point out any shortcomings in our nation and rectify them, which is an amazing power that the American people have. Another great freedom we have is the freedom of religion and the separation of church and state. Religion has been a large part of this country since before it was the United States, as many of the first settlers came seeking religious freedom. Many people still come to the United States for religious freedom or freedom from religious persecution. Not many other countries in the world have churches, cathedrals, synagogues, and monasteries all representing different religions in one city, let alone their capital. You may think this clustering of conflicting religions would cause an unrest and violence, but on the contrary, our diversity has led to more unity within our communities. A Methodist university I plan on attending has a campus pastor that is currently studying Hindu, not so she can try to convert people, but so students of Hindu background can still have meaningful conversations with her. One of my favorite presidential quotes from our first Catholic president, John F. Kennedy, stems from this topic. Quote, "Where no religious body seeks to impose its will directly or indirectly upon the populace or the public acts of its officials, and where religious liberty is so indivisible that an act against one church is treated as an act against all." End quote. I believe this quote speaks volumes to the religious strength of the country, that one of our most religious presidents would consider an attack on the Jewish faith just as grievous as an attack on the Christian one. Our democracy has many great values, many being inspired by other nations, but when you put it all together, you get something truly unique. Our democracy is many things. It is diverse, long-lasting, powerful, wise. But most importantly, our democracy is ever-evolving. It is its adaptation that has put this nation on top. Our ability to change is what makes us a people looking to the future instead of an ancient nation stuck in the past.